Welcome everyone to a special edition of the AI Workstation. We're going to focus in on who owns your data. Who do you own your data? All right. My name is Danny Ross, and I'm going to be one of your co-hosts tonight. I've been in the space for over 30 years in the software space, and I've built and participated in a lot of software projects. My goal in life since leaving Microsoft and starting Digital Express AI was to basically empower ministries, organizations, businesses, how they can use AI to continue to grow their business. I'm going to turn it over to my co-host, Joel.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Danny, for that introduction. And I would like to welcome everyone to our exclusive webinar on this very critical topic of artificial intelligence ownership. And we were delighted to have you join us for this insightful discussion on navigating the rapidly evolving digital landscape. Tonight, as Danny was saying, we'll explore key considerations, some challenges, and strategies to ensure you maintain control and ownership over your artificial intelligence system. So our goal, as Danny said, is to provide you tonight with some practical insights. And then we're going to give you some next steps to empower your organization in this essential aspect of artificial intelligence. So let's dive in to this presentation. And so, Danny, if you go back one slide, this slide it gives an overview of which provides, the key topics we'll be covering today. And so we'll start by introducing the concept, what we call data ownership, and the question why data ownership is important. And then we'll talk about digital sharecropping, that term that we coined here, and we'll explain what we call the digital sharecropping versus true data ownership. And then we'll talk a little bit about a concept called Bayesian thinking and the Berean approach that is very critical to our past experience, passion, and motivation in terms of why we're bringing this technology or trying to teach this technology to people who are making a difference in other people's lives, people who are serving in ministries, people who are small businesses, because we have a passion for it, because we understand how this technology will be used as against how it will be used against us. Danny is going to give you a lot of demonstration. Hopefully, we'll go through demonstrations that will resonate with contractors, with nonprofits, with ministries, and things of that nature. So let's jump in. As Danny introduced himself, he has a lot of experience, but now I'm adding my experience to him. I have over 45 years of experience as an Air Force intelligence officer. I'm a recipient of the National Intelligence Medal of Achievement. I retired in 2003. And some of you may not know that the military is about 20, 25 years ahead of any technologies out there. So what does that mean? That means I was using this technology in the military, and a lot of these systems were not available to us, but now they are. And with the advent of ChatGPT that gives you access to the powerful technology if you know how to use it. So together we complement each other's skills and we make excellent partners to execute this technology. As Davey said, to help us serve us better, please drop your industry, organization, or website into the chat right now. We may have a surprise for you at the end. We may choose you to do a live demo. Please give us your information, organization, or your position, and we show you how to customize these tools. And so which quadrant are you in? We've divided our offerings and products and services up in the specific personas that we call them, or use cases. We don't try to focus on everyone. And this actually, what we're doing is not for everyone. And it's not for people who want to get rich quick. It's not what we're teaching here. We're teaching you a system or a model. We're teaching you how a franchise approach, and it's step by step. And as we all know, in the kingdom, that God is a God of order. So we have taken an orderly approach to this technology. But for each segment, we're going to highlight key pain points, the financial cost of those pains, and the results that you can achieve. But what we want to emphasize here, whether you're in a federal contractor, nonprofit, church or ministry, small business, federal contractor, each segment has its similar pain points. Some are customized, some are different. The common thread throughout all these is that every one of you are currently renting your information, renting your data, and paying others to own the data that makes decisions about their business. And so we want to teach you a model of how to retain control over your data, over your knowledge, and we're going to introduce that process to you. So First of all, I said, we introduced a term called digital sharecroppers. And what does that mean? What we mean is I have a story. It's that, I'm 65 years old, and I remember my grandfather in Alabama, Northport, near Tuscaloosa, Alabama. He was a sharecropper. He raised sugarcane. I remember him driving his mule and taking his product, but he never owned any of that because it was all rented by the person who owns the plantation. That's the way it was. Today, we equate those big tech giants, and we're not disparaging any of them, Facebook, Instagram, all those things. Just think of how long people have been on those platforms. They have exploited every keystroke, every page, every contact that you have, and turned it around and used that data to remarket products and services to profit themselves. And you receive nothing but a free tool. Basically, if it's free, you're the product. That applies to a lot of technology. If you don't own your data today, you don't own your future. Most organizations use cloud AI and it learns from their data without your permission. Think of those terms of agreement you click on to get that free product and you never read. If you read them, you will realize that you've essentially sold your birthright to them because they can exploit whatever you're doing without compensating you. And so this leads us to the term Bayesian. It's a term that was coined by a Reverend Thomas Bayes in the 1700s. He used it to teach how accurate the accuracy and how the scriptures, the claims, the scriptures were true. And that model today is being used in modern algorithms and everything that we do, from suggesting web pages because or Netflix. They are using Bayesian methodology that Thomas Bayes, this pastor, invented to search the scriptures. Because when you go to Netflix, it says you watch a movie. Well, if you watch that, then you'll like this. It's taking the prior beliefs that it has about you, the data has collected about you, to make updated suggestions. And that's all Bayesian is looking at the prior and then making new suggestions. Your data is being stored in their systems and it's being manipulated and exploited, and then it's being remarketed. Next slide. As I said, this is just a process and steps where you start with what you believe. And just as the Bereans did in Acts 17:11, they searched the scriptures to see if what Apostle Paul had said was so. Apostle Paul had new evidence that Christ is the Messiah. They're the ones who validated that he's correct. And so we believe, and so that's why this tool, this methodology, this method is thousands of years old. It's still the same method that is being used today. And so only now that you can, because if you have to use this manually, you would have to look at thousands of pages of manuscripts manually with with your thesis of saying, okay, I think this is true, but let me search the scriptures. But now ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, all of them store all of that stored knowledge. And so it can search those records quicker and then compare what you believe and give you an answer based on it. So it's just like when you were little, you tried to guess how many jelly beans was in a jar. And you tried to guess, and then you get more clues. Nope, that's not it. And then you look at the jelly beans, look at the size of the jar, and you update your guess. And then someone says, no, it's more than 1,000 and less than 5. That's new information. But I want to simplify it, but it's just as simple as that. And that's essentially what Bayesian is. Next slide, Danny. So we threw this slide in for our federal contractors, and I just wanted to emphasize the fact that $425 billion has been reallocated through the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which some of you have heard about. And we're not validating or anything here, but we're saying that federal contractors now have an opportunity. They've reallocated money to Medicaid. They've reallocated money for government contractors. They've allocated money to the Department of Homeland Security. So and we have some countries that we work with, and that's why this slide is in there, just saying the opportunity is out there, but you need to be prepared to look at those RFPs, what we call those contracts. Look at your capability statement, your past performance, and see how to get in position to get some of that $425 billion, because it's there, but you have to be in a position and be able to react. This allows small businesses and contractors to be able to do that faster, quicker, and better with less employees. And so they can now compete if they have this methodology. That's the strategy they should take if they want to stay in business in the future. All right, next slide. So now let's look at how do we apply it? Well, thanks for the question. This artificial intelligence thing, how does it work? Tonight, we're going to let you in on a couple of $1,000s worth of knowledge. We're going to give you something that you can actually do yourself. And you don't need us to do it if you're capable of doing it. But our secret sauce, in addition to the tools and the platforms that we have a process. And so just let me ask you a question. Do you think that Chick-fil-A, for example, makes their fries, their lemonade, their sandwiches different every day? No, they have a process. They have a model and they follow it. Does Chick-fil-A taste different in Alabama than in Maryland or Texas? No, you go to Chick-fil-A because it's a consistent system. And then, when things go wrong in the process, they can backtrace to see where it went wrong. And so they have it down to a science. And how much sugar to put in the lemonade, how much salt to put on the fries. It's a science. You may not see it, but it's how they can control costs. This secret sauce we're exploring is why we try to teach you to own your own data. This is the first step. So many of you are familiar with ChatGPT, yeah? But there are other models out there. And each of those models have different purposes and sometimes give you a different answer or can generate or transform information and format it in different ways. And so with our franchise approach is the baseline. Our tech stack consists of 4 or 5 of these tools, and that's all you really need. There are other tools out there that help you in terms of AI tools, and you can learn those if you learn the model in terms of how to talk to it. You can talk to any ChatGPT, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, and Daniel will talk to you a little bit about prompting when he goes to his demo. We use ChatGPT as the first step in the process. We put a prompt in there, we load our documents. Again, training your ChatGPT instead of relying on it just to give you an output based on what you write in the chat bar. Go in ChatGPT, there are settings in there where you can load your data, load your personality, load your website or your organization so that when it searches, it compares it against what is already in your data. And so you do that for each one of your large language model. We use it for general research, and then we would take that and move it over to Perplexity. Perplexity is very good at validating what ChatGPT said because it will cite sources. It's good at citing the sources, so you take those sources and add that to your knowledge base. And now you have a good product. Now, what do you want to do with that data? What do you want to do with that information that you just created based on your knowledge base and you search with the ChatGPT? Okay, I want to create a sermon. I want to create a new website. I want to create a white paper. I want to respond to a process of proposal. Once you do that, we move it over to Claude, which is a very good writer. Claude is one of the best writers out there. So you can ask Claude to take this information that I just uploaded. I want to deliver a sermon in the style of C.L. Franklin or in the style of, you, for example, or whatever your name is, or whatever your organization or whatever, material that you trained it with, old sermons, old products that you've already created. Let the chat know that. So train that up. Just like scripture says, train up a child, we're train up your large language models. And so we would take that and transform that product into something that you don't have to spend hours doing. If you follow that process, it's repeatable and you will get a much better product out of it. That is really a pro tip, as Danny would say, for improving how you talk to a large language model today. And you can do that today. So again, I said a little bit about prompting. Why is prompting important? It helps you form that. Your prompts are very important because it gives you more clarity, less guessing. So when you use those large language models, you have to have a model in your head. You have to give it context. You have to explain what it is you want. You have to tell it the tone, the audience you're speaking to. You tell the ChatGPT all that in your prompt. And that's why they call it natural language programming, because you are talking to the model just like a developer writes line by line code. Those words that you are speaking are being transformed in the model as ones and zeros. That's what's going on in the background. And then when you see it spit out something, you're like, wow, how did they do that? It's the algorithms. You just created your own algorithm, whether you know it or not. That's the science behind better prompting. We teach you that in the cohort as well as the core program. That gives you, more consistent, and so you can develop your own prompts for different aspects of whatever you want to do. But the important thing is training your knowledge base, understanding how to prompt, how to talk to it, having given it clear instructions, just like a computer. Although AI is not a computer, it's an operating system, and so and then the outcome of what you want. So you keep that, you do that step by step. You repeat that process. Now you have your own franchise model. Okay, next slide, Devin. We're not telling you anything we have not done ourselves. Once we have done this and put it into these formats, we essentially now have a fusion center. We've trained on our databases. We've got our prompts that we know how to talk to it, whether we're doing marketing, whether we're doing a sales letter, whether we're doing a video, whether we're creating an image. All of those require you to critically think to get out what you want. Every image in this slide had a prompt to create it. And so we're going to show you later that we have tools, and we'll show you a little bit how that's done. But what you have is a fusion center, a unified platform that will serve your unique needs instead of relying on it just to produce something out. You can tell it to act as anything you want. You can tell it to act as your board of directors. You can tell it to act as a CEO, chief operating officer, COO, a CIO, act as a pastor, act as a minister, and it will assume that role. You make the chat GPT or whatever large language model you use, you make it your servant. And so that is the important thing about learning about how to talk to these tools. You are have domain or dominion over this technology. You just got to learn how to approach it. What this slide does, it outlines the roles that you can play. We're just giving you examples. Yours may look different, but it helps you develop your strategy, how to optimize your process. For example, the outcome, we got two use cases, one for a small business and one for a federal contractor. It shows you what you can do and what will outcome if you have your system set up properly. You can develop your marketing strategy, you can create your proposals, responses to RFPs, already format, and everything else. And that's the beauty about doing what we're proposing to do. Okay, next slide, Danny. I just want you to be aware that we've talked to you about the process, the framework, the model of training GPT, how you get your authoritative citations, and how you ensure that you are spitting out truth instead of something that was automatically generated by ChatGPT, which is subject to hallucinations or drift and making up things. How many of us have heard on the news about an attorney getting admonished because he developed a court case and the ChatGPT made up citations or old court cases that didn't exist? That's because they were lazy. They didn't train the model. And so that's just one use case. That's why we teach you to do that. The most important thing is human in the loop. You have to review the output regardless before you post it on social media, before you produce your sermon, and make sure that what's in there is true and accurate. That's how it's done. So, having said all that, it sounds like theory. It sounds too good to be true. Well, Danny's here to show you that it's reality. We've done it, we're doing it, we have operational use cases, and we've gone from concept to actual reality. So I'm going to turn it over to Danny.
All righty. Thank you very much. And again, everyone out there, if you want us to utilize your domain name as part of this, please go ahead and share it. I'm going to start with tools. We've talked a little bit, so let's have some fun, right? We've understood the theory of owning your own data, but let's play around a little bit and get familiar. So I'm going to start with a very simple prompt where I recommend you do it at least quarterly, where you can have AI take a look at your website or URL. Since we didn't get any direct volunteers, we're going to rely on the generosity of Bishop Wills. We're going to take a look at this website, use this as an example. By the way AI works is it just looks at the text and the metadata. It doesn't look at pictures or anything like that. So just from the standpoint of giving it more information, we're actually going to use this page here. It's a perfect place to start, and we can build upon whatever we give it as we go along. Let me explain what I'm doing here in this prompt. First, I'm going to do what's called setting the context, which is where we ask the AI to invite someone to the conversation. I'm asking it to invite a digital marketing expert. I'm telling the AI, you are a digital marketing expert specializing in websites and SEO and AEO, and I'll explain what that is in just a second. And so, in the case of a ministry, you want people to find your ministry, be interested, come to church, and get involved, right? If you're a nonprofit, you want to invite donations or sponsors. If you're a business, you want to introduce your products and services. This prompt is good for anyone. I recommend you do it just as a review. You want to know that you're putting together the most interesting information that leads to people becoming engaged with you, right? And so I'm explaining what I wanted to do and why I wanted to do this. I want to grow revenue, or in the case of pastor or bishop, it would be to increase membership. You could tell it what it is that you would like to do as part of the prompt. So you give it the instruction set. In our classes, we cover this concept of a good prompt, all of the elements that are part of it, setting the context, being very specific about what you want, setting a tone, all of these types of things you can do as part of it. And that's called the create method, is the method that we use. We have classes coming up early next year, and we'll talk a little bit about it. So we've told it, hey, what do you like about this page and what's not working? It's telling us it's a clear mission statement, vision language. You tell people what you do and who you are, strong leadership emphasis, multiple site paths. These are good things, and that's a technical thing. Don't worry about it. Opportunity. What else can you add? And again, all it's looking at is the text that's on the page. Answering questions. So usually a FAQ section on the bottom of most pages. What should I expect? Who's leading it? What's my next step? How do I join? These types of things are important for any website. It's just saying, here's some things you can improve upon. And then it's going to give you things you can start with right away and give ideas. You do have a calendar, but it's not seeing that page. So it's not that you don't have a calendar on there. It just doesn't know you have a calendar because it's only looking at that one page I gave it. I gave it that about page. So these are the things it suggests we look at. So we have this page here, the calendar page. We're inviting it, hey, new visitor introduction, get to know us. You have all of this information here. I could add this to the conversation and what it knows about you. This is what I mean by what we talk about when we talk about prompting, we talk about iteration. So here is additional information and a link to our calendar. Now I'm telling it, you kind of got that first pass, you're beginning to understand us, but now I want to give you more information about who we are. So this is what we mean by iteration. Just keep building. SEO stands for search engine optimization, like Google search engine, keywords, people can find you. If you're in a particular location, you want your name to show up. The way that people are searching these days is they're using AI. So they're using ChatGPT, Perplexity, Siri on their phone, and that's called AI engine optimization or answer engine optimization, where they're asking a question using a lot of words, not just keywords, and then the AI is producing and pointing them to a particular location or website. So what's currently on the calendar, it's looking at this and just talking a little bit more about it and adding that information in there as well. So from all of this, I could say to the I want to grow my membership. So I could say something like, now I would like to take a look at increasing our membership, comma, give me a 30-second script that I can use for a video. Give me just the text, no narration or direction, that I can use to invite visitors to our ministry. So in case you're wondering, the tool that I'm using is called Voice In, and it's just a little tool up here at the top, and it's called Voice In. So it's created this script for us. So now I'm going to take this, and one of the things I saw that you have a video on your website. So that's fantastic. But if you did want to create a new one, I don't know exactly all the steps you went through to create that first one, but I'm going to show you quickly how AI can help you create new ones. And so for that, I'm going to go into our software tool, our platform called AI Workstation. And in the AI Workstation, once I log in, you can see I have about 60 different tools in here. I can edit and move things around very easily. I can go straight into one of my favorite tools in here, which is the AI video creator. I can create a video by just dropping in that script that I just created. And I can drop in some advanced settings here. I can go in and say, okay, I want to use a voice.
Welcome to our AI.
Now that's a voice you hear all over the internet. I'm going to change it a little bit. And so you can also pick some music. What's interesting about the choices here is you can upload your own music. So if you have something, of course, in this case, we would pick a spiritual instrumental. And by the way, you can create your own instrumentals in this platform. So that's also built right in. We'll just use a nice, let's see, get a little purple going here to match your branding. We can decide if it's going to be portrait or landscape. So in this case, I'll do landscape just because. And that's enough for us to get started. And we are ready to go. Perfect. The create AI video is going to kick off. While it's doing that, let's keep working on our progression of how we use AI. And I want to get into some specific examples that have to do with our federal contractors. And I'm going to show you more examples of ministry and faith and AI, just ways that you can use it all together. So we're building this out. Right now we have it doing this. The next thing I want to do is I can say, let's change out the prompt. Now I wanted to help me build out a prompt that I'm going to give to an agent. This agent specializes in development, and it's called appserver.ai. This is the platform, and you can build your first app in under an hour. We're going to do this in 10 to 15 minutes as we're right here on the call. So we're going to build out our first app using this tool. I will drop that right here as soon as it's finished. ChatGPT is finished giving me my first prompt, and I think it might be done already. Great. So what is it doing, by the way? We are not coding this by hand. We are asking AI to tell another AI what we want to build. This is what we mean by that stack, that technology stack that we will show you how to utilize. You can build amazing apps in just a few minutes, but then, of course, you would want us to help you perhaps connect it to things. Let's say that you have a ministry app and you want to connect in payment processor for collecting donations. So that's where you can have us assist you in this, and we can help you with design elements and things like that. So let me go ahead and drop this in here so it gets going quickly. We're going to build a membership growth upgrade for the pillars of holy. I'm going to create a SaaS-based landing page, membership growth. All right, so I'm not going to spend any more time on this other than that one little tweak. I can use the current logo. I'm going to drop this in here. I'm just going to grab this right here, and I'm going to tell it here, oops, here at the bottom. I'm just going to say, use the attached image. So all I'm doing is telling it to use the attached image for branding and colors. Image logo. And I'm just going to drop in that logo that I just grabbed. There we go. And let it go. So again, I'm going to put it to private because it's just us and we're not sharing it with anyone yet. But you can share this with the world as soon as you're finished building it. So, and yes, you can use your own current domain. So we could add this as another page on your website or a link in your website, or you can buy a whole new domain. It just depends on the purpose. If this is for membership drives and adding new members, you may want to make it a totally separate domain name. But again, you can use it both ways. Let me give you some finished examples of what you can do with this. If we go to Pastor Freeman, who is on right now. Hey, Pastor, how are you doing? He's our favorite pastor because we've worked with him a lot. And thanks to his bishop as well, I want to say thank you. Pastor has been working with us, and his testimony on AI and technology is he started from scratch, from where he was. We have built an entire app for him. You can see his messaging here. You can see what his ministry is about. This is important because it is not about the technology. It is about utilizing that technology to deliver the word in the way that the pastor wanted to deliver it. So if you ask AI about any spiritual question, you can get any kind of an answer. But because we have trained the model specifically the way he wanted to, it answers similarly to how he would answer. And so if you ask it a question in a certain area, you'll get an answer related to his teachings. He has books he's written, plays he's written. We can build out daily devotions, a Bible Q&A that answers similarly to how he would, a sermon assistant. All of these different tools we've built based on his teachings. So here's another one that we've built. This one is passionforchrist.ai. It's a combination of things. This one is not so much a ministry, but tools for ministry. If you have a faith organization and you want to use AI for many different things, you can use it for, whoops, my scrolling is going a little fast here. Back up, back up. Sorry about that. Let's see if I can find my link here. There we go. So you can have it help you build out sermons, Bible study, things like that. So these are all elements, if you will, that we built for a gentleman who is in the ministry space, but as a organizational business. So different ways you can build apps for different purposes. Let me show you some examples of building out applications using this same process, but for federal contracting or any kind of government contracting business. So I want to build out, this is one example here. So this is an example of an end user who's in the space of air conditioning and things like that. But I'm also going to use another example of someone on the call. The colonel is on the call. I'm actually going to build out something for his business as well. But I just wanted to show you quickly how this flows. Start off by uploading your capabilities statement. You can put in the types of things that you want to compete for in this space. The app can then match up if your business goals align with a particular RFP or solicitation, and then it can help you generate a proposal. So those are the three steps. It told me that I am 85% out of 100 ready to go get this. And then it tells me areas of improvement without specific, it's telling me, hey, I need more data on the RFP. So usually in the RFP, there are multiple documents. So what I would do is upload all of those documents, but it's telling me just on that one document I gave it, I'm about 85% out of 100. And it then gives me ideas of what I can do to improve it. So we have that solicitation package that we just uploaded. I'm going to upload it one more time. Because you can, by the way, upload multiple solicitations. And then I can tell it, hey, take a look at that. I want to write a proposal. So this is the third step. Of course, you want to respond to that RFP. So now it's working on that as well. So while it's doing that, let's go back to our friend here. If you have questions, please go ahead and ask them in the chat. Let me see if this video is finished. Let's play this video that we just created.
Welcome to Pillars of Faith Holy Church, where hope rises and hearts come home. If you're searching for the word taught with clarity, where love is lived daily and faith stands on a strong foundation, this is your invitation. We are more than a Sunday service. We are a family growing together in purpose, prayer, and power. Whether you're new to faith returning or simply looking for a place to belong, there is room for you here. Join us this week to experience powerful worship, practical teaching, and a community that genuinely cares. Your next step starts here, and we can't wait to welcome you.
So again, a 30-second video in a couple of minutes. Now, what would we fix first? Well, this is one of those cases of AI being AI. And if you give it a general prompt like we did, AI will use its own biases. You have to be specific. So in this scenario, the key thing that we were not very specific with is who is our flock, right? So we want to identify in the images that the AI creates who our flock is. You want to be very specific and create those images. And so what you would do is the same thing we just did with the script, for example. We could effectively go here because the images that are going to be in the builder, this is where I teach, you have to be specific. So when you build out this part of it here and you are teaching it who you are, you want to be specific in the actual description, and you don't have to sugarcoat it. You can be really brutally honest. Here is our rewrite, and then here is our script. So welcome to, and in here, you would be very specific. Let's go to our tools in the platform and generate some new images. One of my favorite tools, and we're bouncing around a little bit, but I wanted to give you some flexibility. In the platform, you could drop in here information about yourself. And then in here, you would want to be very specific when you're asking it, when you're describing it to the AI. You would tell it, this is who we are, right? And you could say a black church if you want to be straight to the point. There's no reason to be politically correct with an AI. You could just tell it what you want. And I'll show you what I mean in just a second. So I'm asking it to give me 20 ideas for images. And you can create truly amazing images in here. This is one is a little more technical. Here's a nice couple. We could take this image and make this part of our video if we wanted to. I could just download that image for another project. You can create all kinds of images, and I create images every day in here for actual customers. For your membership ministry and business, you can use AI to create truly amazing content that you can populate everywhere. This is an image that you see right on that app server website page because I developed it right here. So this is what I mean. Let's go back to the top here so we can see it's building out. Let's see where this one is. Oh, it's almost done. It's telling us it's got about 4.5, 4.5 minutes left. It is building with its heart, working hard for you. It's like hiring 20 developers to build out your website for you. It's given me an African American Christian church that welcomes newcomers with genuine love. And it's telling me it's going to give us a quick sign here, and I'm going to do it in this shape. You can do landscape, you can do square, you can do vertical up and down. You can build out the image any way that you want to. What we're trying to do is replace the images in the video so that it properly reflects us. So this is what I meant by being specific, and you can even go further in your description. So there's the welcome, and then if we go here, let's go here. So this is choir members, coordinated attire, smiling. So this is the prompt here. I'll make this a little bigger so you can see it. And so it's just saying here, close up of, and I would put in the word right here, black choir members. So again, no question of what I wanted to create for me. It's creating the idea and allowing us to be very specific and draw it out. So you can create images, you can create all kinds of things in this platform, all from a single prompt. So that's an interesting image. The choir is doing some sort of a event, for example. Then you would just download that image. You would go to your video. In this case, I would go to my AI video here that I have. I would go here. So if looking for, we're more than service, purpose, prayer, and power, I would upload that image that it just created for us. Let's see where we are here. Not that one, this one. So again, you would replace the image and then that image would be in your video. Just that easy. Anything you type here is what the AI will say. So I'll pause here and move on to the next area. Here's the updated website that it created, African American Church. So when you ask AI to build something, it will build it for you, but you do have to be responsible. So here's the logo that we asked it to drop in. It's dropping in a nice message. It's putting in the calendar. It's giving you examples of what to expect. Now, this part it did do well because I had given it the URL earlier. Obviously, this is not Lady Patricia Wills, but that's okay. That is so simple to fix, it's not even funny, and I'll show you how to do it in just a second. It's built out that whole page in about 10 minutes. It has everything about us, calendar, It has our story about what we believe. All these images are pretty good here, except for obviously these. But at least it did get closer to what we wanted it to do. And then here's a updated calendar. It's just a different approach to the calendar. You can contact us here, that kind of thing. It built this out, and here's a very important page, online giving and so on. We would connect this to a Stripe account or some other payment gateway. I'll pause and see if anybody has any questions. All right. When you say, can I list the steps again, which ones are you talking about for the bidding software? Let me go back into the deck just to wrap this up here. I think you've gotten the idea of what it is that we're sharing with you tonight. We did a little, first of all, we did a little bit of a demo. We showed you Pastor Freeman's app. Let's talk a little bit about how you can learn how to do this. So there's a couple of different ways you can do it. First of all, the AI Workstation is available for you to sign up. It is only $19.95 a month, and you get those 60 apps where you saw me building videos and content. So this is all part of it, and you can start your get going right away, and I'll drop that link in the chat. We'll also have QR codes that you can take a look at. I love to wrap it up with the different ways that if you're interested, we can help you bring AI into your business ministry workflow on a personal business basis or for an organization. One of the easiest ways to do that is our core training, a combination of self-paced videos and modules with live sessions. It runs for 2 weeks. During those 2 weeks, you have a live session each week with also a second Q&A. So that if we usually do it on Tuesdays for the live session, and then we have a Q&A session on Fridays. So we have 2 weeks of that, and that is $4.98. And here's the QR code for that. And I'll put it back up again later on. The second option is if you wanted to dive deeper, and this is where you can start with the core AI training. It's the same training at the beginning for the first 2 weeks. The core training is about understanding AI in plain language. We help you build real workflows, master prompting and AI agents, and navigate AI ethics. In your industries, ethics, privacy, and security are all very important. And then we have a faith track, we have a MBE track, a nonprofit track, and a federal contracting track. So these are all 4 different specialities, but we teach you those during weeks 3 through 5, and then we wrap it up on week 6. So it's all inclusive in that sense. So here's the QR code for this one. Just let us know. The QR code will show a certain price, but if you're interested, put I am in the chat and we'll give you a special code that'll bring the pricing down. If you start with our $4.98 core, we will apply that to this as well. So it gets even better. So we don't want you to think that you're going to have to invest twice as you learn and go on this journey with us. We're going to be with you as you go through it. A lot of times people at this point are thinking, okay, where do I start? How do I get started? We're not talking about miracle solutions here. We're talking about very simple steps that you can follow to become more proficient in using AI in your ministry, in your business. And it is for that super busy, overwhelmed nonprofit leader. It is for that super busy. Budget is important as a small business person. And if you're just a person that needs to think about things and needs help, feel free to reach out to us. Joel, go ahead and put your email address in the chat, and I'll do the same. That way they can share their questions with us. I'll also put my calendar link in the chat so that you can reach out to us as well. So let's do that. There's my calendar link. There's my email address. Thank you, Joel. There's the link for if you want to play with the AI app server. And there's the link for the voice in. So I put all of that in one. And again, yes, I'm using AI to post these things in there very quickly. So again, I use AI in all aspects of what I do. This is Joel's slide. He likes to talk about this. Go ahead, Joel.
Danny has done a great job in showing you from theory to actual application. Due to compressed time, you just have to think about it. In the past, to build a website, to create a graphic or video, I mean, you're talking 1 to 3 months and thousands of dollars. Well, we're showing you that you don't have to pay that anymore with AI, and that these tools now have empowered you. It really has democratized an ability to earn. And so, as you see, it's no respecter of race, creed, color, or whatever. You just have to avail yourself to the process. The reason we use this is because I am also the founder of Bayesian Investigations in 2014. We did background screening, drug testing, fingerprinting, integrity assessments, and we worked with companies and customers up until the pandemic. We worked with them through a brick and mortar, had an office and everything. Then what? The pandemic came along, shut down everything. And thus, that's why we had to make a pivot. We began searching and partnering with other individuals and looking for tools and technology that will help demystify the situation. And so, as I indicated earlier, the decision framework really it's biblically based. God is a God of order. The Bereans were of noble character because they studied the scriptures daily. They didn't play with it, they studied, they were involved, they committed themselves to that. And so this is not a one stop, one off, it's a continuous learning process. You're here tonight because you wanted to hear what we had to say. You're receiving this message with eagerness. I had a great conversation with Ms. Wheels and the bishop earlier today. They were eager to come tonight. And so they're looking at the evidence. They want to see proof. We want to know, okay, show me. Can you guys really do what you say? Yes, we have. And we showed you in a short time. You can verify these claims yourself. We showed you how you can do it yourself. We have a process, a model, and we've invested our time, talents, and energy into doing that. And so now is the opportunity for you to decide what you want to do and where you want to go. Next slide, Danny.
I wanted to throw out, if you have questions, that's why we shared it with you. If you want to know, learn what's the difference, what's the learning curve, how do you do these things? We are going to share this deck with you. We're going to share the video with you. We have our contact information for you as well. I realized we didn't actually get back to this one here. We built this one out earlier today at 12 o'clock. We did the same process that we just did for Bishop's site. We built this out in 10 to 15 minutes. It's a rework of an existing website, now focused specifically on getting people to join. This is another example of what we built earlier today. We can build the framework of your updated website in a very short period of time. What's really important is that you can build some of it yourself. If you go to our classes, you learn how to use these tools to accomplish these things. And so you're not stuck behind us. But the main thing is, let us show you how to do it. Let us teach you how to do it. And then you can go out and teach other people. This is really exciting. I'll pause here and see if there are any questions in the chat. If you have anything you would like to say, let us know and we'll bring you up as well. We're happy to do that. I see Pastor is on. Let's invite Pastor up. He was on earlier today. Thank you for joining us twice today, Pastor.
Greetings, everyone. I've heard everything, and I'm so excited about the opportunity. Those that know me know how, I'm going to use the word illiterate. I was in technology, and I didn't even know how to use the cell phone. All I knew is to make a call. That's it. But when I got with this organization, and I saw the possibilities of how endless the things that I had done for a lifetime, writing plays, writing stories, it opened up such a avenue for me that I'm grateful for. And I want to encourage those that have heard this presentation, whatever your endeavor is, whatever God has placed on your spirit, whether it's a business, ministry, or whatever it may be, these tools can aid you and catapult you into areas that you have not even dreamed of. I can tell people I have, what is it, an avatar that's in my image that speaks for me. I'm talking about me. And so it's just so crazy what this can do. And I want to encourage you, If it piques your interest, explore it, because I tell you, when I came in reluctantly. I came in saying, well, I'll go ahead and I'll take a look at it. But once I got with Joel and Danny and Christina, and I began to engage, and they began to show me and teach, and they began to mentor me, it's just been just great. And so, any of you that have a dream, have a vision, I believe this is the avenue. And guess what? The thousands and thousands of dollars that I would have had to spend, you have to invest, because anything worthwhile is worth the investment. But the money that I would have been required to spend, it's not even there. It's meager compared to what I would have spent with the knowledge that I've gained, with the tools, and with the access I have, because I have access to these giants that have years and years of experience. Call them and ask them and throw something at it, and they'll give me guidance to what I need to do and what to look at. I'm just so excited. So I just want to encourage you that if you got a dream, you got a vision, I would say go for it. Go for it. Don't be afraid, because this is brand new. And the only ones that's behind, to be honest with you, is Black people. A lot of young people and other ethnic groups are jumping on this, and they're making money. This is a tool that you can really, really, you want to quit your job? I'm looking for the Lord to breathe upon my projects, and I'll see where he's going to take it. So thank you for the opportunity. And again, I thank Danny and Joel and Christina for their dedication and hard labor in all of these apps. I can go to any app. I thank you for the opportunity. I thank you for being a part of this group.
You're going to get a replay of this video. You're going to get our contact information. So please reach out if you have any questions. We're here for you. We really appreciated everyone who jumped on today. Let me show this one.
Did you put those QR codes back?
That's exactly where I was going. So the first one will take you to the AIW Workstation. Again, that's $19.95 a month. If you just want to tip your toe in and get familiar with it. And then the second one is for the $498 core program. And then the third one is for the Genesis cohort, as we're calling it. You can start anywhere along there. Just reach out to us if you're interested in the cohort, and we'll make sure you get that special discount code. All right, just for being on this webinar.
Danny, I'm going to go off script here. The people that are on, if they sign up tonight, I want to give them 30% off coupon code.
Absolutely. Please send us your email address, and I'll put both Joel and mine is in the chat. I'll copy them in again. Just send us an email, and we'll make sure you get that 30% off on any of these that you wanted to do. Any other things you want to say, Joel?
Thank you, Danny. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Pastor Freeman. Thank you to the CETA people who are online. I certainly hope Bishop Wills was online.
Still on, yeah.
He's still on. Would he like to say a few words or just give us his feedback?
I certainly have enjoyed what I've witnessed here. I do have several questions that I'll follow up with you on, and I'm going to look at the video. You say the video will be accessible, and then I can ask questions after hearing it a second time. So be patient with me. I'm the type of person, when I make the decision, I stand by my word, but I like to get as much information up front. But again, very exciting. I feel you've done wonders just those few minutes with our website. So we'll talk more about it, Joe.
Okay, thank you.
All right, everyone. Fantastic meeting everybody who's new in here. We will be reaching out to you with the replay video. Have a fantastic rest of the day. If I don't speak to you again, happy holidays. And we look forward to continuing to work with you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.